Okay, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to the Regional Admission Counselors of California's Virtual College Fair. We are excited that you're here. We have a great group of colleges and presenters lined up for you this evening. So hopefully we'll be sharing some information that will help you with your college search process. So just a few housekeeping announcements from me before we get started. First, your cameras and microphones are turned off, so don't worry, we can't see you or hear you. Hopefully you can see and hear us okay though. If for some reason that changes, just send us a message using the Q&A button on your Zoom toolbar and we'll be happy to help troubleshoot that with you. Speaking of the Q&A button, that is your best way to engage with our presenters this evening. So if you have questions throughout the session, feel free to drop those in that Q&A box at any time. You can do it before they're presenting, while they're presenting, or after. We will all be monitoring those questions throughout the whole session and are happy to answer those as those come in. Don't forget, this is just one of many sessions being offered this evening and this spring, so be sure to check that StrideScan website where you signed up for any additional sessions you might be interested in, as well as all the session recordings will be posted there as well. So before I turn it over to our presenters, I want to show you what our schedule looks like for this evening. So we are session B2 in the middle there. So we are going to start with Bard College, then we'll hear from the University of Alabama, University of Nevada, Reno, Emerson College, Columbia College, Chicago, and Loyola University of Maryland. And so with that, I'm going to turn it over to Bard College to kick things off.
All right, thank you very much, Tyler. Hello, everybody. My name is Colrick Greathouse. I'm your Assistant Director of Admission and West Coast Coordinator for Bard College. Feel free to screenshot, or I think you'll get our contact information automatically just for registering. So we are excited to have you and excited to be here. Bard is a private college for the public good. And so what that means for us is that as an institution, we're doing work at a local, national, and global level to make a positive impact in ways that are environmental and social in nature. We have a really strong focus on sustainability, but that goes beyond environmental sustainability. And not only are we doing work as an institution, and I'll share a few examples of that in a moment, but we're providing opportunities for students to engage in that work as well. So one of the largest offices and largest employers of students on our campus is the Center for Civic Engagement. And classroom learning and civic engagement really go hand in hand at Bard. So the two seemingly unrelated examples that I like to share to sort of illustrate this notion of being a private college for the public good are, one, we have 2 farms and an orchard on our campus that supply more than 20,000 pounds of produce every year to our dining halls on campus, as well as local community farm stand and donations to food banks and shelters in the area in the Hudson Valley. And then the second example that I like to share is that we have one of the largest degree granting prison education programs in the country called the Bard Prison Initiative. And I'll give a shameless plug. The documentary that covers that program, College Behind Bars, it was created by Ken Burns, and he actually won an Emmy for that. It's a 4-part series available on Netflix, Amazon Prime. If you have access to those streaming services, it's also available to view for free on pbs.org. And what those two examples, the farm program and the prison education program, have in common is that they were both started by Bard students. So those are a couple of big examples of ways that you as students can really get involved and engaged in the community and make an impact at a local and at a national and global level. I'll also highlight that Bard is a part of a broader network that furthers this mission of being a private college for the public good. We have a sister campus in Great Barrington, Massachusetts, about an hour away from our main campus. That's a hybrid high school college program, Bard College Simon's Rock. We also have a network of high school early colleges throughout the United States in places like Queens, Manhattan, Newark, I'm sorry, I'm blanking now. Cleveland, Baltimore, Washington, D.C., and New Orleans. And those are free high schools where students go and get their high school diploma as well as their associate's degree from Bard, which they can then take anywhere. And then we also have an international network of programs and campuses. Bard College Berlin in Germany. We have a partnership with the Smolny Honors College at St. Petersburg University in Russia. We have a partnership with Central European University in Vienna, Austria, as well as Al-Quds University in the West Bank in Palestine. And very notably, we just received a promise of a $500 million gift to our endowment. It's a pledge for us to match. And so we're really excited. We'll have a $1 billion endowment when the whole campaign is done over the next couple of years, which is going to really continue to grow our programs and put us on par with our peer institutions in terms of increasing access to education around the world. I'll just highlight really briefly the 5 pillars of the BARD education. All of our classes are small. Average class size is about 12 students taught in the Socratic method. And so you have these 5 pillars. The language and thinking program, first-year seminar, and citizen science are the first-year program. And then unique to BARD is moderation and senior project, which moderation is our process of declaring your major. So you do that through a presentation of what you have learned so far and what you plan to do with your education. And it looks different for every field of study. So if you want to go into dance or photography or the STEM fields, or maybe you want to study human rights, we were the first college in the country to offer a major in human rights. Your moderation project and presentation is going to look different. And then that leads you to senior project, which is a year-long passion project, as well as a professional caliber contribution to your field. And you spend 2 full semesters or more if you decide to do a joint or double major, which is pretty common. You can expand your senior project study in that way. And you also get class credit for it. So you're really devoting your time for that year to senior project. We've got fields of study in a variety of areas: the arts, language and lit, STEM, and social studies. But our largest number of programs is actually under the interdivisional programs and concentrations. And that is because so many students have essentially created new fields of study at the college by combining their interests. So you definitely have a lot of flexibility in that way. My time is running out. Feel free to screenshot some facts and figures here. A significant portion of our students come from outside of the United States, but then just as many students come from the West Coast. So there really is a significant presence in the Hudson Valley of New York from students out west. So without further ado, I will pass it off to my next colleague. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Colrick. I appreciate that. Let me get my presentation pulled up. Hello, everyone. My name is Kevin Payton. I'm the regional recruiter for the University of Alabama. I'm actually based in Ventura County, and I cover the greater Los Angeles area and also the state of Hawaii. So I've been with UA for about 3.5 years, but let me go ahead and get started talking about Alabama. So we're a large public research university. We're located in a college town called Tuscaloosa. I'll talk about that more a little bit coming up here. A lot of people know Alabama for football. We're pretty good most years. We were good last year. We just won our 17th national championship, and our men's basketball team actually did pretty well this March. We reached the Sweet 16, so we're proud of the work they've done there. So a lot of school spirit, great athletics, if that's something you're interested in. Also, Greek life is a huge thing at our campus, where about 34% of our population is involved in either a fraternity or sorority. So that's largest in the country. That's around 11,000 students total. So tons of opportunities to get involved that way. We also do offer some pretty generous out-of-state merit-based scholarships, so I'll speak of options for that coming up here shortly. I mentioned again, a lot of people know us for athletics, but not too many people know we're actually second in the nation among public universities for National Merit Scholar enrollment. So I'll quote a good friend of mine, Gary B. with New Mexico. We get athletes and mathletes here at our university. So great student athletes, but also very high achieving students in terms of academics as well. And we've been ranked among the top 60 public universities, according to US News and World Report, some very high ranking academic programs. As far as Tuscaloosa goes, a smaller college town, around 100,000 people are located in Tuscaloosa. With that being said, excuse me as I mute my Apple Watch, apologize. So pretty much everything I like to do here in Southern California, I can do in Tuscaloosa, with the exception of going to the ocean and going to the beach. We're about 4 hours outside of the Gulf. But if you ever do decide to come and visit, we are offering campus tours currently. There's also some virtual options if you're more comfortable with that. We offer a virtual campus tour that's available through YouTube. You can reach out to me for that link. But we also offer virtual information sessions where you can learn more about our specific colleges on campus and some of our specific academic programs. You can also reach out to me and I can send you a list of recommended places to stay, places to eat, and places to explore around town in Tuscaloosa. So if you're considering UA, definitely take down my contact information at the end of this presentation. One of my favorite things about the university is we're a majority of out-of-state students. So It's a great place to meet people from all over the country, really all over the world. We're 3% international from 76 different countries. So again, great place to meet people from all different backgrounds, all different walks of life. We have a ton of different majors and programs, which I'll speak of here shortly. So all different interests as well. So pretty unique experience to be a student on campus. 70 different majors that I spoke of, also 200 different academic programs. Our most popular colleges on campus are going to be the College of Arts and Sciences and also the Culverhouse College of Business, but great programs in nursing, engineering, education, human environmental sciences as well. So tons of options. We also have a program where you can create your own major if we don't have something specifically you're looking for. So really the opportunities are endless in that regards. And I'm not sure if I mentioned this yet, but we're also a top tier research university. So if you want to do any undergraduate research, there's going to be tons of opportunities for you to do that as well. Campus resources, ton of campus resources. We're actually top 10 for internship placement, according to, I believe it's Princeton Review. So pretty awesome career center. We have a 90% success rate for recent graduates. So our recent alums tend to be doing pretty well. But also first year experiences, being that we're a majority of out-of-state students, it's really important for students to find ways to get involved. So, involved and get connected. So we have an office dedicated just to that. But also, tutoring, writing center, things like that as well. So make sure to take advantage of some of those opportunities at UA. Student life, we have over 550 different clubs and organizations. I mentioned Greek life, but here's another great opportunity. Political, social, religious, intramural sports is how I got involved. Service groups. You can see some examples here on the left-hand side of your screen of ways you can get involved in a club or organization on campus. Again, Greek life is a pretty big thing, as I mentioned earlier. We have some of the nicest houses in the country, at least in my opinion. And one fun fact about students involved in our Greek system is they actually have a higher GPA than students that are not involved. So they do a really good job of holding each other academically accountable and maintaining a high level of academic success. So housing on campus, we do require it. We do have 34 different housing options on campus. I apologize. We do require it for incoming freshmen. After your first year, you're welcome to move off campus if you like, but 34 different housing options. We also give students the opportunity, if they register for housing early enough, typically it's February 1, you'll have the opportunity to pick your room and pick your roommate. But there's also 3 different all-you-care-to-eat dining halls on campus as well. Tons of different restaurants, all located on campus, Starbucks, Chick-fil-A, Panda Express, all that good stuff. And there's also tons of restaurants within walking distance off campus too. So it's a pretty cool place to be, to live. Moving along, how to apply. This upcoming year, we're going to be on the Common Application. The first time since I've been with UA that we're going to be on the Common App. So we're excited about that. It should be opening around August 1, I believe. But you should also be able to apply on our website in early to mid-July. So just stay in contact with me for more information on applying. Cost of attendance, we are a public out-of-state university, so that's something to keep in mind. Any public out-of-state university is going to have out-of-state tuition. Ours is around $30,000 before scholarship or financial aid. Total cost is around $44,000, again, before scholarship or financial aid. My time's running out, so I'm going to try to fly through these. We do offer some pretty generous automatic merit-based scholarships based off of a student's GPA and test score. You can see where you would fall in that range there. If you haven't been able to test this past year, we also offered competitive scholarship, which is based off of a student's core GPA, so English, math, social science, natural science, and also foreign language, and also the strength of a student scholarship application. This also ranges from between $6,000 to $28,000 per year. That's my time. Again, I'm Kevin Payton, the regional recruiter for LA and Hawaii. My contact information is there on the screen. I'm going to turn it over to University of Nevada at Reno with Linda. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here and spending your evening with us. My name is Linda, and I'm the Bay Area Regional Representative for University of Nevada, Reno. Some quick facts about us. We are from the Bay Area, from California, Bay Area. We're about 4 hours away from Southern California. We're a quick flight, about a 7-hour drive from Southern Cal. We are, population-wise, we're a Tier 1 research institution. We have about 22,000 students on our campus. We have a plethora of majors. We pretty much offer everything for our students. What's great about us is you can cross the state line and not worry about any impacted majors. So students are getting their classes and graduating in 4 years. Some of them going on to do some graduate work. We have about 3,000 graduate students on our campus. We do have a medical school, so heavy in the sciences. And that will just lead me to touch on majors, other things that we offer. We are very strong in agriculture, biotechnology, and natural resources, environmental science, and then also strong in business. Reno itself is a growing city. We have a lot of companies such as Tesla, Google, Microsoft putting offices there, so students are able to find a lot of internships. Reno itself is growing. A lot of companies coming in there. We have a Center for Entrepreneurship in downtown Reno that our students take advantage of and can use. It's owned by the university. Student to faculty ratio 20-1. We keep our class sizes small. Again, students are always getting their classes. Back to majors, I jumped over to that. I wanted to touch on, we have a great education program. You get dual credentialed between California and Nevada. So if you want to be a teacher, you're ready to go in California if you come back to the state. We also have a great nursing program. We admit about half of our applicants into that program, roughly around 150 get in out of 300 that apply. And then finally, we have wonderful journalism program. I think it's a real hidden gem in the United States. Very, very strong faculty and state-of-the-art equipment in our journalism school with a focus on social media. And then we are a Division I athletic school, huge school spirit. We're always wearing our navy and gray on campus. Students are always cheering on our sports teams. We're the Nevada Wolf Pack. We're in the Mountain West Conference. Huge diversity on our campus. We have 300 student organizations. Students are pretty much doing everything. We have a vibrant Greek life on our campus. And then a little bit about admission. So what we look for in a student when they apply for admission is we ask students to have a weighted 3.0 GPA when they apply. So what we do is we take your transcript and we look for these classes listed here. If you have a 3.0 in those classes, and average test score is about a 22 ACT or an 1100 SAT, you are then granted admission to the university. So again, keep in mind, we're looking just at that core for admission. A little bit about what our cost is. Out of state, our students are looking to pay about $30,000, but what's nice is we're part of the Western Undergraduate Exchange Tuition Program. So being from California, we're in a reciprocity program where when you apply to the university, you're automatically reviewed for a tuition discount that can bring your tuition down to about $11,000 per year if you have a 3.25 GPA or test score, which are optional this year, 24 ACT or 1160 SAT. If you don't qualify for our WUI award, you could then qualify for our Nevada Advantage Award, which takes about $8,000 off that tuition, brings it down to about $13,000. And the $30,000 I said was with room and board. So if you calculate WUI or Nevada Advantage, you're looking at about $20,000 to $23,000 with our room and board. We are a residential campus. I missed talking about that. Students are required to live on campus their first year. Many students stay on campus all 4 years. We probably have 12 new buildings on our campus in the last 5 years. So we're a growing school. And that's all about I have to say tonight. Quick fact, fun fact about us. We have the largest earthquake lab in the world on our campus. We simulate live earthquakes on our campus. And then that's kind of cool. Students sometimes will feel an earthquake. And then another fun thing, tradition that we do is we have what's called the Battle of the Cannon. We have an actual cannon that when we play UNLV, our huge rival in state, whoever wins that football game gets to take the cannon back to their games, and they shoot it off when they score touchdowns throughout the season. And I'm happy to tell you that we have had the cannon on our campus for the last 3 years, so we're doing really well. Thank you for being here this evening. And again, my name is Linda. If you have any questions, I will stick around in the chat. And I'm going to pass things over to Amy from Emerson. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Linda. Let me just share my screen and we will share my PowerPoint. Does everybody see that okay? All right. So Just want to tell you all a little bit about Emerson College in the heart of Boston. I should probably tell you first, my name's Amy Mitchell, which you can see under there, but I am the regional admissions counselor for Emerson based in California, and I also cover Hawaii as well. So I'm your main point of contact if you have any questions or concerns. I'm always happy to help. So a couple of quick facts just to get a sense of Emerson's campus. We are an urban campus right in the heart of Boston, directly across the street from the Boston Commons. So a pretty incredible place, I feel like, for students to study. We are in the theater district. I'm virtually sitting in one of Emerson's theaters now. We have 7 theaters on campus. 3 of them are these beautiful theaters that we've revamped back to historical standards that are just really incredible theater spaces that students get to perform in, including one that's a Broadway size house. We have been around, as you can see, an awfully long time, since 1880, and always kind of with the same mission as a school that is very focused on the arts and communications. And that's really kind of the heart of who we are. A smaller school, I always say we're on the big side of small. So we're sort of the best of both worlds, where students know most students that they're running into, but they're still seeing some unfamiliar faces and meeting some new people. Campus itself as an urban campus is 12 buildings in a 2-block walking radius. So again, a little bit of a best of both worlds campus as well, and that students are able to live in the city environment, but in a much smaller space. Which is especially appreciated when it is snowing out, to only have to go 10 minutes across campus. 13-to-1 student to faculty ratio, so you can expect small class sizes where students are able to really engage and be active and involved. And students are coming from everywhere. It's important to us that there's a wide variety of diversity in the classroom and in the voices as to what's happening in that classroom. We also have 5 resident centers on campus. Many of them are more apartment style or semi-suite style. Many of them have incredible views of the Boston Commons, and we do require that students live on campus actually the first 3 years. That is because our neighborhood is such an expensive neighborhood. We want students to be able to enjoy that campus environment. We are a school that's deeply committed to the liberal arts. It's really important to us that students are getting that well-rounded experience in their education. So they will take a variety of liberal arts courses. They get a pretty wide range of options to choose from. So for instance, one of our science classes is called The Politics of Water. Students are literally studying water as a commodity. What happens when you don't have access to clean water? How do you build a cheap filtration system? So it's sort of this really nice variety of things that are science-based, as well as sociology and anthropology. And that's pretty common of our courses, where they'll be well-rounded in that sense. We break our majors up across 2 different schools. We have our School of Communications as well as our School of Arts. And we'll talk about that in just a second. As you can see, we have a pretty wide variety of majors within the School of Communications. We are incredibly well known for our business program. The head of that program is Wes Jackson, fairly famous in the music industry, and has really done a great job at leading students through sort of a unique business program that's very arts-based. So business in any sort of creative industries, communication sciences and disorders that will prepare students to be speech pathologists, work with anybody with delayed speech, anything along that lines. In the communication studies program, we have general communication studies, very strong in political communications. Those students will spend a semester in Washington, D.C., public relations, and then of course, sports communications. Boston's a big sports city, so anybody who wants to do anything on that side in the sports world. And then we are #1 in journalism in the country, very strong journalism program, very strong marketing program. And then we also have a number of these global programs as well. So the global programs are really designed for students to spend their first 2 years studying abroad, either at Franklin University in Switzerland or at the International College of Management Studies. So those are some unique programs that we have that are incredible for our students to take advantage of. And then we have our entire School of Arts. We are one of the only schools in the country where you can get a Bachelor of Fine Arts in Comedy. I think one of our other counterparts here in the comedy world is going to be here tonight as well. And then we also have another one of those global programs in film art. So this is where students actually spend 3 years studying at Paris College of Art, graduate in 3 years, and study both fine art as well as experimental film throughout that program. We're incredibly well known for anything in the theater world. Not a surprise, as you can see some of these theaters that we have on campus, anything from musical theater to stage design, theater performance, and everything in between. We're also in the top 10 film schools in the country, so very strong in anything in the visual media arts world. And then, of course, well known in creative writing, as well as the writing, literature, and publishing sector. We also have a couple of unique programs that are interdisciplinary degree programs where students are able to build their own degrees across our different majors, and then also including liberal arts as a part of that program as well. And then these are some of our global programs, just to get a sense of the campuses that we have for the global programs. Pretty incredible places for our students to study. We also have a pretty wide range of minors available for students, just about everything that you can think of, including political polling. We're listed as one of the most accurate political polls, podcasting, esports, publishing, pretty wide range there. And we actually have 2 other campuses, which a lot of people don't realize. So besides our campus in Boston, we actually have this incredible campus right in the heart of Los Angeles in Hollywood. And it is designed for students to live in the building, take classes there, but to do a 30, 40-hour-a-week internship, especially in the film industry. Students will typically get a job offer, not always, but for the most part, students will get a job offer from this program. And so we don't have students do this program until senior year. We also own our own castle in the Netherlands. It's an actual medieval castle with a moat and actually an inner and an outer moat and a drawbridge. And students can live in the castle for a semester, take classes. It's for any major to take advantage of that program, along with a number of other study abroad options that we have. We are a busy, active campus. We are D3 in sports. We're also part of the Pro Arts Consortium, so students can take classes at any of the other area Pro Arts Consortium schools as an Emerson student, including places like Berklee College of Music. Obviously, we have a lot of internships happening. We are in just this heart of Boston where so much is going on at all times. We are a school that automatically looks at students and considers students for scholarships. So know that that will be a part of your process. And we do require the FAFSA as well as the CSS profile for your financial aid. And my time is almost up. 2 things to know. We are an early decision as well as an early action school. And of course, we have regular decision as well. And you can apply directly through the Common App. You'll need some special things for certain majors. And there's my contact information. That was fast. So thank you, everybody. Have a great.
Great. Thank you, Amy.
Thanks, Amy. Hey, everyone. I'm Marty with Columbia College, Chicago. My pronouns are he, him, and his. And this next 5 minutes or so goes out to all of you creatives, all of you who are interested in the arts. Columbia College, Chicago, we are a private institution located in one neighborhood in downtown Chicago. By the way, you're welcome to screenshot any of this information. There's my contact info, QR code to get on our mailing list. Yes, we send swag items if you're interested. A little bit about Columbia. As I mentioned, we're in downtown Chicago. Our educational model is one that very intentionally blends everything with the creative arts plus a liberal arts core curriculum. So our students take some math and some science and some humanities classes. But believe it or not, all of our students are also required to study some level of business or marketing and or entrepreneurship. And so what that means for us is we're really trying to program students with a ton of creative work and projects, but also to know how to apply those in the creative industries. For our students who come from California, I think these are the 4 reasons why our students choose Columbia. And this is what they're experiencing. First and foremost, the city of Chicago. We are absolutely advocates that our students not only produce work and engage on campus, but you have the 3rd largest city at your footsteps. And so we really expect our students to contribute to the life and the culture throughout the city of Chicago. If that's auditioning off campus for a professional theater company, or if that is playing gigs with your bands in the clubs in Chicago, we expect that of our students. Number 2, complex collaboration with difference. We have students coming from all 50 states and over 60 countries. And so you are absolutely signing up for an educational experience to work with people who are different from you. And we think that's really important to ensure that our creative work is relevant and that it's comprehensive and inclusive. Number 3, suffice it to say, our learning is very hands-on. And so students start in their programs in the first year. If you are a fashion design student, you're going to have classes in fashion design studios with sewing machines and textiles. And then ultimately, all of these are meant to create really endless opportunities for students to network and have those career preparation skills while you're earning your undergraduate degree. There are over 6,000 students right now at Columbia College Chicago. I'm super proud to report that 99% of our students, as of this school year, are receiving scholarships and aid from Columbia. The new students who joined us this year, around 60% self-identified as students of color. Around a quarter of our new students self-identified as first-generation college students. And on the right, you'll see kind of 6 main areas of our academic focus. We have media and digital arts, we have visual arts, we have music and sound arts. Of course, we have the performing arts, communication and writing programs, and then the business and the management to support the aforementioned. And on the next slide, we'll get a look at some of our majors. As Amy mentioned, we're kind of known for our comedy writing and performance program as well. So if there are any budding sketch comedy writers or TV writers who want to write in the comedic genre, we have a program that's co-taught at the Second City in Chicago. Our top sort of 5 most populated programs from California students tend to be film and television, theater, which includes the comedy programs, but musical theater and acting as well. Number 3 are music programs. We have an entire suite of contemporary music programs. So as I say to young musicians, whatever you're interested in producing and whatever you're listening to, that's the same type of vibe that our students are into. Number 4 are journalism programs. Super happy to hear from Linda and Amy also plugging the journalism programs. We have a great journalism scene in Chicago with many news outlets, and so our students get to tap into that. And then I'll round out my number 5 list with our fashion programs. We have dedicated programs in fashion design and fashion business. Of course, we are advocates for combining different types of things and double majoring and minoring and making your own degrees. We can't stress that enough, that it's important for our students to have access to as many creative vehicles and really see your ideas and ambition come to life. So on to the boring stuff. How do you apply to Columbia? How do you get in? I'm going to actually start with the third point here. I'm so proud to announce that effective fall 2022, Columbia College Chicago will be an absolutely test-free institution for not only admission, but also for all of our scholarship opportunities. So we are absolutely not considering test scores beginning next year. You can find us on the common application or on our own application. Either one's totally cool. You don't need both, just one. And we try always to be as holistic as humanly possible, but on a very rolling schedule. So our application opens in August, and it kind of stays open until June-ish of that school year. Scholarships are considered for every single student who is admitted. So all you need to do to make yourself eligible for scholarships is to be an admitted student. And then, of course, students who do submit an audition or a portfolio, we have talent-based scholarships for students who do those. Some of our programs have very specific guidelines for auditions and portfolios, so they do vary by major. But of course, if you have any questions about that process, just give me a shout. I'll plug the FAFSA as an important part to maximize your aid. And again, thank you so much for being here. Give me a shout if you have any questions. My colleagues, it's great to see you again. And I want to shout out Tyler, who's hanging out with us in the Central Time Zone. I know it's late where you are, so thanks for helping us out tonight, Tyler. Let's head back east to a great city, Baltimore, where we're going to hear about Loyola University, Maryland. Take it away, Michael.
That was awesome. Thank you so much. I am going to hopefully knock it out of the park. I'll tell you right now, we do not have a comedy program, so you might want to check with Marty or Amy when it comes to that. But hopefully today, I can tell you a little bit about Loyola and what we have to offer. I know the first thing students will say is, I watched March Madness, I saw Loyola Chicago, and this is a different Loyola. St. Ignatius of Loyola founded the Jesuits. There's actually 4 Loyolas in the United States: Loyola, Maryland, Loyola, Chicago, Loyola in New Orleans, and then Loyola in Los Angeles. St. Ignatius, we took 4 of our schools took his name. There are actually 27 Jesuit institutions across the United States: Gonzaga, Marquette, Xavier. You hear a lot about them during basketball season. But we're located over in Baltimore, Maryland. Let's see if I can get my slides to work. First slide there, that center picture, that is actually the Inner Harbor. That's about 15 minutes away from our campus. So When it comes to location, Baltimore really is the perfect location, and when where we're located there is also perfect. So our business students can get to downtown Baltimore in about 13 minutes if they take an Uber. They can do internships at Under Armour. They can also do internships at places like the Orioles Stadium or Baltimore Ravens Stadium. If you're going to visit campus, stay here. I'm based in San Diego. This is where I stay. I can walk to Little Italy to get pasta. I can walk to Fells Point and get crabs cakes or ramen. So it really is a great place to stay when you're visiting campus or to do an internship. Our political science students are going to DC, and our forensic studies students are going to DC to do internships. An hour by train, we're an hour and a half to Philly and 4 hours to New York if you want to jump on a train to go see plays or something like that. So lots of opportunities. The pictures around it, the Inner Harbor, that is actually our campus. About 84% of our students live on campus all 4 years. So truly a commuter campus. We call it an evergreen campus, super green year round. You'll experience all 4 seasons. And that the young lady that's holding the Starbucks bag, that building behind her, that's our admissions building, our humanities building, and our admissions office is located there. So if you do come for a tour, that's the building you're going to be looking for to visit our campus. So when people ask me, Michael, what's it like to go to school there? We're kind of like Amy said, that perfect small college, but kind of big because we're 3,900 undergraduate students. Average class size is going to be about 20. Faculty student ratio is 12 to 1 this year. Sometimes it's 11 to 1, sometimes it's 12 to 1. But we like that. We like a lot of interaction. In order to succeed on our campus, you're going to have to be willing to raise your hand and participate in classes. We like that type of students. We're NCAA Division I when it comes to sports. We're really big. We do not have a football team. We're in the Patriot League, but we do have a phenomenal lacrosse program. We also have, if you're not in varsity athletics, we have great club sports and intramurals. Even included in intramurals, we have esports. So if you're into gaming, that type of stuff. 98% of our students are participating in our FAC, our Fitness and Aquatics Center. I'm not a big sports person, but definitely would like to go work out, go run the track, do some things like that in our Fitness and Aquatics Center. And then 60% of our students study abroad. So it's not if you're going to study abroad, it's when you're going to study abroad. Our business students, for example, some of them are going to China and they're doing international business. So lots of opportunities. Other students are just fulfilling a Spanish requirement. So they're going to Mexico. So it really depends on what you want to do and what you want to see there. Pretty easy how to apply. We're also a common application school, just like a lot of us here. Scholarships will range anywhere from $20,000 to $30,000 a year. We ask that you fill out the FAFSA and the CSS profile for your financial aid packages. 92% of our students are on some type of financial aid. And then when it comes to, I know sometimes students will say, well, Michael, what does it take to get in? 3.63 is our middle 50%. Some students are higher, some students are a little bit lower. And you can see the test scores there also. We're a test optional school. We've been test optional for now about 10 years. So if you feel like those test scores are not reflecting you, you do not have to submit your test scores for you. I could talk about Loyola until I am blue in the face. But if I could share one thing with y'all is as juniors, and even as seniors, we have some great visit opportunities. This was a little short, abbreviated version, 5 to 6 minutes of our presentation. We do a 45-minute one if you really want in depth. But then also we have student-led tour guides that are done virtually, and I'll be honest, they're fun. To hear those student stories, it's scripted to, I tell them what buildings they hit, but they share their stories. So you never know what you're going to get on each tour. Or if this summer you're traveling and you'd like to tour campus, we definitely have opportunities to tour campus too. Social distancing is definitely plays a factor in that and how capacity. We have 10 students that can come in the morning and 10 students that can come in the afternoon, and with one parent each. There'll be a symptom checker, you'll have to wear a mask, things like that, but we definitely would want you on campus. I'm going to drop in the chat too my email. It's mdecker, or I can actually just show you on the next slide, mdecker@loyola.edu. I am your admissions counselor. I'm based in San Diego. I do have one-on-one appointments that will be set up now until throughout the summer. So I look forward to hearing from y'all, and good luck with your college search.
Awesome. Thanks, Michael. Okay, well, that wraps up our formal presentations for this evening, but I'm going to ask all of our presenters, if you want to turn your videos back on, we're going to do a little bit of Q&A here at the end. Students, if you have questions for any of our colleges, now would be a great time to drop those in the Q&A, and we can answer those in the next few minutes. In the meantime, I will start with a question, and that is, what advice would you give someone going through the college search process? And so we'll go in the same order we started with, and so I believe that Colrick, you're up.
Thank you. Yeah, for going through your process, I will just say, and I feel like I've become more and more direct and just sort of blunt in this whole pandemic thing, because we really don't have time to beat around the bush. There's only one butt in your seat at college. So this process ultimately for you as the student is yours. And so I just want you to keep that in mind. And as you take in advice and you learn from the people around you, that's wonderful. We all have, wonderful things to share about this process. But at the end of the day, your gut and your choice in terms of the fit for you is what matters most. So yeah, just keep that in mind.
I would say just continue to do what you're doing. You've obviously attended this event tonight, so you're learning and you're keeping your options open. So that's one big thing that I always encourage students to do, is to keep an open mind and to hear about these different opportunities that are going to be available to you. And then second, once you start applying to some of these schools and you get admitted, it's always, it's good to hear from people like us. And I think it's really good, especially early on in the process. But later on, again, when you get admitted and you start hearing back regarding scholarships and stuff, to try to visit some of these campuses. Speaking with us is great, but being able to see some of these schools in person is really, what can help you make up your mind and make that decision a little bit easier for you. So keep your options open, and then ultimately try to visit your top 3 or 4 schools would be my advice.
I would just say we're talking about keeping an open mind, but I think it's important if you go outside of California and maybe you have your heart set on Northwestern, to go to Chicago and look at Columbia, or look at Loyola there. Like, don't just limit it to one school because that school's name. I think there's a lot of focus on name brand and college admissions. So if you're in Boston or any of our bigger cities, like, don't just go look at one college, go look at 4. It's very easy to do. So just don't get pigeonholed on one college on your list if you're traveling around the United States looking.
I feel like someone probably already said this or wants to say this, which is to just relax, breathe through the process. It always works out the way it's meant to. And I feel like, the stress that we all are under, especially right now, but the stress doesn't help the process, and it doesn't help you listen to your gut. And I think that's probably, when we talk about fit so much, it's really listening to your gut that's probably the most important thing. So take some deep breaths, enjoy the process. It's a once in a lifetime thing. So have some fun with it.
Amen to all of that. Thank you, Amy, Linda, Colrick, Kevin. And I'm going to add on Kevin's point and just remind everybody there's another great suite of sessions happening at the top of the hour this evening, as well as in a couple of weeks. So go and check out all the other great schools that are a part of RACC that are here this evening. My tip is, and I don't want this to sound trite, but be authentic. We want to get to know you through this process. And if that means you need some help, be honest with that and reach out to us and let us help you throughout this process. But we really want to get to know you throughout this process.
It makes me happy when Marty says be authentic, and we all are like, yep, because I think we all do appreciate that. When it comes to my tip, I would say don't rank your schools. Don't have a number 1 choice, a number 2 choice, because what's going to happen is your senior year, you're going to go to Thanksgiving, and then you're going to say, as people are going to ask you, oh, where are you going? And you're like, well, my number 1 choice is this. Well, what happens if you don't get into that number 1 choice? Or what happens if your number 2 choice gives you a full ride? So what I would say is, when you're talking to family, friends, everybody, these are the types of schools I'm looking at, or these are the schools I'm looking at. It'll help you in the long run.
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you all so much for sharing. Great advice. I appreciate you all taking the time to talk to our students this evening. Students, thank you for joining us. I'm going to share my screen one last time. When you close your Zoom window, there will be a very quick 4-question survey. If you don't mind completing that, we'd really appreciate any feedback that you have. As Marty mentioned, don't forget there are more sessions right after this, so be sure to check that StriveScan website, sign up for any additional sessions you might be interested in, as well as find all the session recordings there within about a week or so. So thanks again for joining us. Have a great evening, and we will see you in the next session.
Bye, guys.